Pornography is a drug that hijacks your brain. You know, in 2024, there are millions and millions of men that are suffering in silence with a pornography addiction. Every day, I hear from dozens of you out there in my inbox, in my email, telling me the stories of how porn has hijacked your life. It's held you back from pursuing meaningful relationships. It's had negative impacts on your career life, on your finances, on your mental, and on your physical health. And we still don't know a lot about the dangers of pornography, but every day more and more research is coming out to support the negative effects of consuming just a little bit of pornography. And it is our goal here to educate and inspire the men of the world to take back control. And we want to do that with our resources and our coaching to help give you the tactics and strategies needed to break free from this addiction and go on to live the life that you know you're born to live. But it's more important for us to educate on the dangers of porn use. So in this episode of The Rebuilt Man, I'm talking about the 5 ways that porn hijacks your brain, similar to hardcore drugs such as cocaine and heroin. Now, I know it's a taboo topic. I know that it is a very polarizing opinion for me to say that porn is just like cocaine and just like heroin. But in many cases, it's a whole lot worse. It's something that happens in isolation. It's something that keeps us completely anonymous. We can suffer in silence without anybody knowing. It's something that we can have unlimited access to, absolutely free. And the fact that the average age of exposure to pornography is 8 to 11 years old, and it grips young men and young boys at such an early age at the time that they reach their adult life and they've woken up to the dangers of their porn use. Many times they feel stuck, they feel alone, they feel hopeless in the pathway out of it. The first thing I want to share with you is if you are caught up in a cycle right now of porn use and addiction, there is a pathway out of it. I've created the #1 program in the world to help men break free from the shackles of their porn addiction. If you click the link down there below or you visit rebuiltrecovery.com/no-brainer, you get access to this course for a one-time investment of just $99. This program, men have paid thousands of dollars to be coached by me personally. This program has led thousands of men through the journey of recovery, and you can have access to it today for just $99. Visit rebuiltrecovery.com/no-brainer. If you're new to the podcast here, make sure to subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, guys. Give us a like, share this video, share this episode with as many people as possible. But there's 5 ways, in my opinion, 5 ways that porn affects our brain in the same way as cocaine, heroin, and all of these other hardcore drugs that we are clearly aware of the dangers around it. So we're going to talk about these 5 things here today. And the first commonality, the first similarity between these two is the dopamine release. Watching pornography can trigger the release of dopamine in the brain, very similar to how drugs like heroin can stimulate the dopamine reward system. For those of you that don't know, dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure and reward. Its release reinforces the behavior, potentially leading to compulsive patterns. So it's a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure or reward. And when we pull that lever of pleasure, it reinforces that behavior. And this is where that addictive pattern begins to shape itself. Because now instead of putting in work, instead of chasing dopamine for reward, we can just tap the button like the mice do in the study to get all the pleasure that our brain wants and desires. Number 2 here is desensitization. Frequent exposure to pornography can lead to desensitization, where the brain becomes less responsive to the same level of stimuli. This can result in the need for more explicit and novel content to achieve the same level of arousal, very similar to the tolerance that develops with drug use. So anybody out there that's listening that has known somebody in their life that has struggled with drug use, over time, this person's need for higher, hardcore forms of drugs begins to rise. So if we're constantly pulling this lever of pleasure, creating this pattern of addictive behavior, over time we get desensitized. Now we need more explicit and novel content to experience that same level of stimulus and arousal. So number 2 is desensitization. Number 3 is the reward circuitry. Both heroin and pornography can impact the brain's reward circuitry. We talked about this with dopamine. Over time, this can alter your brain's natural reward pathway, leading to diminished pleasure from everyday activities and an increased desire and need for that addictive substance or behavior. If you're out there and you're listening, you're watching, and you've had some struggles with pornography in your life, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your lack of joy, your lack of meaning, your lack of enjoyment out of the everyday things of life, going to the gym, going to work, engaging in meaningful conversations and relationships. You feel absent, you feel void from these things. You feel numb to the man that you're supposed to be. Every single one of you watching and listening knows exactly what I'm talking about. That doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. That means that your brain, your reward circuitry has been hijacked, and you got to get control of these things. So rebuiltrecovery.com/no-brainer will give you the tools and pathway out of this. Number 4 here is the cravings and the withdrawal symptoms. Now, obviously, withdrawal symptoms with heroin can be far more severe, and I'm not knocking those, but many individuals who develop compulsive addictions with watching pornography experience cravings and discomfort when attempting to quit and abstain from it. This is why you need a program. This is why you need a community. This is why you need some support in your recovery journey. Many of these symptoms can and will include restlessness, irritability, difficulty in concentrating, difficulty in staying focused, just short, weird period of time of discomfort that if you stick through it and put in the work and allow your brain to heal, allow your brain to reset, allow your brain to reboot, getting on the other side, you'll be more calm, more at peace, less irritable, and feel like you're hyper, super focused on the task at hand. So number 4 here, the similarities are going to be the cravings and withdrawal symptoms when trying to quit. And number 5 here, you guys are all going to resonate with, and is disruption of your relationships in your everyday daily life. We know that pornography can lead to massive problems in your relationships and daily functioning. Similar to drug addiction, it can impair social interactions, work productivity, overall well-being. Both heroin, cocaine, and pornography use can result in a loss of interest in the previously enjoyable activities and strained personal connections. We know that to be true, and many of you are experiencing all 5 of these. Porn is a drug. It is hijacking your brain. It is hijacking your life. It is hijacking your enjoyment, your peace, your meaning, your purpose in your everyday activities. And if you do not confront it, you do not get on the other side of it, you do not begin to take the steps that are necessary, gentlemen, this will only begin to compound over time, and you will find yourself in a dark pit of despair and depression where I was in 2018 contemplating taking my life. But I got free. I did the work. I got on the other side of it, and I dedicated my life to helping men all across the globe do exactly the same thing. So subscribe to the podcast, share these episodes. And if you're looking for a proven process, rebuiltrecovery.com/no-brainer. Get it today, man. $99. Is your future life worth a small time investment? That's a question you have to ask yourself here today. God bless you guys. Coach Frank of the Rebound Man. We love you. We'll see you in the next one.